Anime before anime. Anime in our childhood was nothing but cartoons to me. I never knew what anime was until like 5th grade, but I've been watching them the whole time without knowing. Beyblade, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, Bakugan, Beat'em Digimon, Dinosaur King, and even Dragon Ball Z. I watched these shows early morning on Cartoon Network or on Vortex. I enjoyed every single bit of it too. Beyblade is by far my favorite out of all of these. And to be clear, I mean the Metal Saga. Beyblade Metal Fusion was so gas. They let you know off rip that Jenka was that guy and nobody was beating him in Storm Pegasus. Jenka was really dripped out for a kid too. No matter what season it was, he kept the Pegasus headband on. Seeing Jenka take out 100 bladers like it was nothing was a serious flex. They really knew how to make you like a character. I also like how they made him climb back up the ranks after his dad destroyed his Bay Pointer. Kenta is a character most of us don't really care for until Metal Fury, because he's always losing and glazing Jenka, but we know he's not the number one when it comes to glazing. I do like Sagittario, but Kenta just wasn't that guy, so he kinda hoed the Beyblade because it had claws. That was cool. Madoka, she was cool. She came in clutch. I remember wanting to see her Beyblade and she actually did it, but there's nothing more I can really talk about her for. And Kyoya he was tough. They let you know off rip that he was gonna be a problem. I wanted Leon so badly. I even got the tornado top version and it was actually horrible. But it was Leon, so I got it. Kyoya had a clean fit too, with the scar and fang that just added to his character. Seeing Jenka versus Kyoya was the battle we needed to know how crazy this series can really get and how special moves really would actually look like. Talking about Kyoya means I have to talk about Benkei, the number one glazer in this show. He can't go an episode without saying Kyoya pal. Kyoya on his brain all day. He was tough for a little bit when he got Dark Bull, but he quickly got lame again. That just took all of that energy he had in the beginning right away. He's still a pretty decent character though. Now I could talk about the Dragon Emperor himself, Ryuga. We all know how much of a dog Ryuga was. Him and El Drago had nothing but menacing aura. He was traumatizing people just because, what he did to Hikaru was insane. He even made Tsubasa have a split personality. But he got beat by Jenka riding a winged horse. Some of you say he lost a plot. I'll leave that for y'all to decide. The other side characters they had in Fusion was cool, like Yu, Hikaru, and Tsubasa. Yu really had Libra turn the stadium into sand. I don't know how he did that, but they have talking dogs in there, so it's not that crazy.
Why have you brought outsiders here, Hyoma? What?
The other villains from the Dark Nebula were okay. The only other one besides Ryuga and Yu that I liked were Reggie. And that's because he was just a menace too. He was destroying Beyblades like they were trash. Metal Masters. Metal Masters is where my guy Masamune is introduced. Stop calling him a fraud. He doesn't deserve that title. Masamune worked hard. My boy was really tough. Him and Ray Striker. Jenka, he gets another Beyblade. And it's tough. I like Galaxy Pegasus. The design is so clean. I had the version of Galaxy Pegasus. I think it was clear. But I have no idea what happened to that. Kyoya, he doesn't get a new Beyblade, unfortunately. But he still can go against Jenka even with the new Beyblade. And his new team that he forms with Nile, his design is really good. And Horusius is such a nice looking Beyblade. But onto the Dragon Emperor, Ryuga. Ryuga is still a menace in this season. Even without the dark power, he is him. The new El Drago is so cold because they gave it the ability to steal spin. We all know that scene when he hand spun the Beyblade against some agents and completely beat them. I love hand spinning my Meteor El Drago in real life because the absorption actually works with the rubber. The other new characters were cool too. From the other countries, Julian was tough before he wasn't. Guardian Destroyer was one of my favorite Beyblades at the time, but I never was able to get it. The Shine was also cool. I really liked his design. He might be one of the drippiest in all of Metal Saga. Toby and Zeo were okay. They really were just there for the Masamune development, but Twisted Tempo was that Beyblade at the time. The second menace that was in this show was Damien. He was truly a good villain, and Hades Kerbex was one of the best Beyblades this show had introduced since the start. The battle between Jinka, Damien, and Jack had buildings being destroyed like they were nothing. They had no care, they were just destroying stuff. The season also had a version of Doji, just without the orange soda, he had the cat. Metal Fury is my favorite season in the Metal Saga. This season just had the better story, fights, and character growth. The story set up for bigger stakes for the series, and that made this season more serious than the past two. The first episode having a Bey battle with Jinka Kyoya was epic. Seeing the Beyblades transform from Galaxy into Cosmic and Rock into Fang were just such a cool scene, and giving them the ability to mode change. This season adding mode changes to Beyblades was such a good addition, and being able to use them in real life was just fun. This season brought in one of my favorite characters in Beyblade Metal, the owner of Very Aries DD, King. King becoming one of the legendary bladers during the Destroyer Dome was one of the most hype moments in Beyblade Metal Fury. Seeing King basically go Super Saiyan was just tough. His friendship with Masamune is so wholesome to see, especially the time Masamune lost after Chris and King went to go talk to him. Out of all the Beyblades in the Metal Saga, Very Aries is definitely in my top 5. Another blader and Bey I liked was Chris and Phantom Orion. Chris was just about his money, and you can't be mad at that. Jinko really could have paid him off to get him on his side because his dad is the head of WBBA, so you know they had money. I did have a Phantom Orion and I loved it, and it was taken because the person that gave it to me wanted it back, but I love Phantom Orion because the ability to spin for so long was just so cool. I always loved the bearing drives for that reason. All the bad guys in the show were cool, but Johannes himself was just annoying. Getting a hype mode, I don't know why they always were like so shocked by that, because he did it every single time. But Aguma was cool. Aguma vs Kyoya will always be a good battle to watch because they go all out. Ryuga once again stays a solid character, and when he arrived to the Bayshore Island tournament, you could just feel that aura through the screen. It was such a hype moment. Talking about Ryuga means I have to talk about Kenta, because this is the season of his development. Kenta finding a purpose for himself was something that he needed, and him becoming the Summer Constellation Blader was so exciting and emotional because that was the death of Ryuga. They really killed one of the greatest characters in this show. This is definitely one of my favorite of all of them. So Beyblade has always been like important in my childhood because I collected so many of them, like so many of them. And I did watch Burst. I liked Burst. Like, I actually did enjoy Burst. I watched all of them, and I even watched Beyblade X, the new one that's coming out. But about like just Metal Fury itself, we would go after school to my friend's house because I would bring my Beyblades over there, and we would just Bey battle. We would even Bey battle on the bus going to school in the back. That's just like a good impact that it had. Pokemon is a show I feel like everyone has had to have seen. I know a lot of people have fond memories of watching the older Pokemon series, but the ones I really watched were Black and White, X and Y, Sun and Moon. I did see some episodes for like the Indigo League or the ones with like Dawn. When I was watching Black and White, some of my favorites was in that, like Snivy, Oshawott, and Axew, and their evolutions went tough. I would have to say X and Y was my favorite as far as story. One of the main things I remember is in X, Y, and Z, when Team Red came in, they were actually like a menacing group, and they felt serious. So they added that tone into that season. I also remember the megas that happened in that season, like Mega Lucario and Mega Charizard. But by far my favorite thing that came out of XY is Ash Greninja. Like, how cool is Ash Greninja? For you to be able to have that deep of a bond with your Pokemon that he takes on characteristics as you, I ain't never seen that happen with Pikachu. Get rid of Pikachu. Go to Greninja Ash. Sun and Moon is something I've also seen. I did enjoy that. Some of my favorite things from Sun and Moon in particular is... Okay, I'm joking. But Sun and Moon did have some nice wholehearted scenes, like when Kukui proposed to Professor Burnett and they ended up getting married, or even the wrestling part. As far as games go for Pokemon, I did get Black and White in elementary school for the DSi. I tried my hardest to grind on that game. I did not get far. I got stuck at a gym leader and I haven't touched that game. I don't even have my DS anymore. But I did get a Nintendo Switch in like 2020 or 2019. And I played Sword and Shield heavy when I got that. Like, I didn't get off that game until I beat it. Me and my cousin would grind all night talking about what we caught. And he really like taught me like grinding is actually important because I got stuck at B. She was actually kicking my butt. But in the childhood moments of Pokemon, that's where the cards come into play. Pokemon cards were like trophies in elementary school. Like, you had to show off your Megas, your EXs, anything you pulled out of a pack from either like Target or Walmart. You had to show those off, or like people just wouldn't believe you. So that's how Pokemon was for my childhood. I don't know how it was for y'all. Like, y'all probably watched it more than I did, but I still had like a good part of Pokemon in my life. Man, I love Yu-Gi-Oh! I've seen every Yu-Gi-Oh! Series that needs to be seen. Keyword is need. I'm not watching this mess. The original Yu-Gi-Oh! Series is the first one I saw and I loved it as a kid because, I still have to rewatch it, like if I want to get the full original experience. But hey, Yugi switching into Yami was such a cool concept to me. Yugi really had a cheat code and nobody knew. The character designs are so good. I remember watching and seeing Yami without the school jacket on, thinking that he looked so cool. I didn't like Kaiba at first, but then I started to like him as the series went on, because he just became like such a dope character. Joey, I like Kaiba. I like Joey off rip. Like, how can you not like somebody with that upbeat personality? He even had the ability to raise up May. May was definitely Mai was definitely one of them crushes from old cartoons. This series is popular for some of the most well-known cards still being played today, which is Dark Magician and Blue Eyes and Exodia. These are all iconic cards in the world of Yu-Gi-Oh! The series got even better once they brought Merrick and the Egyptian god cards in, because Merrick, he was a menace. He was the menace of the series. And the Egyptian god cards were just broken. Like, they were like so insanely broken. My favorite out of all of them will have to be Slifer. Well, Slifer was just cool. Then there's Yu-Gi-Oh! GX. This is a cool series. I stumbled upon this because I had no idea about GX. I remember liking a few characters, Jaden, Astra, and Alexis. Astra was tough, bro. The heroes that he used, Jaden was cool with his Elemental Hero Neos, and Alexis, I think she used Harpies. I still have to finish this show too. That's a panel with a lot of these because the Yu-Gi-Oh! Series are just long. Like, there's so many episodes in each season. 5Ds is the one I want to watch most out of all of them now, because the idea of people riding on motorcycles as a duel is just so cool. The designs are some of my favorites when it comes to Yu-Gi-Oh! The jackets, the hairstyles, like Jack Atlas is so clean. Now Zexal is one of the two that I've watched completely, the other one being Arc 5. Now, Yuma has a cheat code as well. Like, just like Yugi, he has a cheat code, which is Astral. Having Astral just basically play the game for you is insane. But he learns to be good on his own, even when he doesn't have Astral. The XZ system is something that I really like. It might be my favorite system, because I still use it when I play Master Duel, because I run Galaxy Eyes. Hey, them Photon Galaxy Eyes. Speaking of Galaxy Eyes, let's talk about Kite for a little bit, just a little bit. Kite was just tough. Like, oh my god, Kite was saucy. He was what Shark should have been. He thought Shark was going to be like the rival, The Jack Atlas, the Kaiba, the Astra. No, that was Kite. That was all Kite. And he did it well, especially with the galaxy eyes. Arc 5. Arc 5 is my favorite out of all of them. The dimensions, being the different other series. I don't think it was like canon to the other series, but like they never had the main characters, just the other side characters like Crow, Alexis, Kite. I loved the pendulum monsters that were introduced in Arc 5. I ran pendulums like whenever I played in elementary and middle school, and I used to perform pals too, like Yuya. So I loved the pendulums because it was just easy access to overwhelm your opponent with so much monsters. I still keep up with Yu-Gi-Oh! A little bit because I play Master Duel from time to time. I will watch like some YouTube videos, but I'm not watching them new shows because no one cares about Rush Duels. I'm not watching that. Bakugan is another one I watched in my childhood. I love Bakugan to the end of this earth. It has great openings among great openings. The Bakugans were amazing. The fights were good. The character designs was tough. Dan, I love Dan. Sun is my favorite of all time. You can't get better than Sun. And one of the best Bakugans of all time is Praise. Beat My Crossfire is an underrated anime that people should have watched in their childhood but didn't, because I watched it on Vortex, so I guess a lot of people didn't watch Vortex. It's about people shooting marbles out of gases that somehow talk. I love it.